Welcome back to the WHL Championship Series on Shaw. This is Dan Russell alongside Bill Wilms. In our previous series, the Calgary Hitmen gave us a great example of what can happen if you hang around long enough. Well, in this game, Edmonton weathered an early storm, and now they've taken control going to the third.
Unbelievable. We're told they had one. Portland Winterhawks had one scoring chance. Watch what happens here. Here's what I'm going to show you why they didn't get many. Curtis Lazar dumps that puck into the neutral ice area carelessly. Hold it right there. Pouliot, he's on the far right of your screen. He's a defenseman. Now watch number 20 in white. He usually drives the center lane. He puts himself in a position there that he can't even take the pass. There's no scoring chance on that particular play. And again, look inside. Here's Ratty, Leipzig, and Patan. They go to work. Where's this puck going to go? It's going to go to that spot. That's probably the only scoring chance there. And Brissois there to make that save. Brendan Leipzig, watch what he does here, folks. This is the guy that led the league in scoring. Lifts the puck, settles down, but where does he go with it? Block shot. Good job to get in the way, and away go the Oil Kings. Now, Kolda turns his puck over in the blue line area. And again, Leipzig says, I'll take that thing. What did he do? Circles back into his own zone, winds up, looks, goes. You know what? Is this a scoring chance? It's not. And when Leipzig gets to this spot, he realizes his only chance is to draw a penalty. And you watch as he knows, if I can get through those guys, somebody's going to take me to the ice. It's exactly what happens. Here's the Edmonton goal. Rutkowski, number 2 in Portland, right here. He runs out of options. Doesn't know where to go with it. Where do I go with it? Where do I go with it? On the far right, Wotherspoon says, I'll take it. Gets himself in position. By then, he's put it up the boards. Legault gets the puck, throws it to Samuelson, and look at the front of the net. Lazar crashing the crease area. That allows Samuelson to get the puck, get it through, get it on the net. That's the Edmonton goal, and it's 2-0 for the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Very good stuff. Samuelson with his 10th at 11-17. Legault the only assist. And away we go with the third period. These teams, as Bill mentioned earlier, did meet one time during the season, and Edmonton won here 4-3. Interestingly, that game followed their worst defeat of the year, where they lost 8-1 at Tri-City. Hard to even visualize an Edmonton team losing 8-1 to anybody while defending their championship, but they came back into Portland in February and then won that game. The longest losing streaks both teams had all year with 3 games. There's a check by Mraz. There's Ruck now. Here's Lowe, back to the line, a shot, right to Caruth, and he holds on to stop the play. WHL on Shaw is proud to recognize Travel Lodge as an official partner of the Western Hockey League. Travel Lodge, nice rooms, great people.
I'll get it done every time, won't it?
What's that?
Great rooms?
Oh, yeah, every
Great
time.
people?
Yeah, that's a good combo. I like that.
It's a winner.
So in the first minute here of the third period, Oil Kings, it was exactly 1 year ago, by the way, to the date where the series started last year. Mitch Mraz was reminding us of that before the game, because he said it was my birthday last year on game 1. Shot going over top the net. Saunders shot from the blue line. This is a textbook example of weathering an early storm. I mean, you were with us at the beginning of the hockey game. It was all important in the first few minutes. Though Edmonton did score on their only trip into the Portland zone. Here's Wotherspoon now to Ratty. Ratty takes a shot through traffic. That bounces over to Rutkowski. Rutkowski now to Wotherspoon. This is not a power play. It just looks a little bit like what? Ratty being checked by Saunders. Lazar trying to get it out of his skates. Portland holds the puck in. They find that gap over to Wotherspoon. Samuelson lining him up. Ratty in the far corner. He dishes it out to Rutkowski. In his skates, he puts it up high behind the Edmonton goal. Gurnett. Now Legault. Off of Lazar. Lazar heads to the bench. Edmonton making a change. Long pass to Rutkowski and over the line. Rutkowski cuts to the middle, and it's turned aside by Brissois. Michael St. Croix up to TJ Foster. Fakes the shot. It's forward that he's coming in on there, but he couldn't get past Patan. And now Kolda gets it out only for a moment. Bjorkstrand pass. Leipzig collects it over on the far boards. Mayo takes it off his stick. Mayo tips it to Kolda. I chuckle every time because I can't believe Mayo's 16 years old. He's played so well, and not just this game, but every game we've seen him on Shaw.
Did you see that backhand pass?
Oh, yes.
He had some zip on it, got it right to the right guy. Never slowed the guy down. That's the key in passing.
Here he is at the point, and he doesn't get a good shot away. Blackstall told me today he's the best skating defenseman we have. And that's him chasing after the puck right now, and he blocks his man knowing he wasn't going to get the puck. A lot of good little things.
You know what he reminds me of?
What's that?
Not quite the same. Remember Jonathan Blum when he was 16 in Vancouver? You just kept looking at him. You said, this kid's too good a skater. It was unbelievable. Jonathan Blum, just a terrific Vancouver Giant.
Musil gloves it right to the Portland player, Lear, who puts that shot wide. This building's as quiet as it's been all night. Right now, there's a shot. Now it might get noisy. They score! Lear hammers it in, and Portland's on the board.
Once Taylor Lear gets in behind David Musil, number 6, and he gets in a position where he can get his backhand on this puck, it's going to be a lot of trouble. You see David Musil there, he can't get him, and that stick is free. Folks, that's a perfect example. All you kids out there that play this game of hockey, you've got to get sticks off the ice. If you haven't got good position, you must get the stick off the ice. Musil was unable to do that, and Lear made him pay.
Good play by Delio to get that puck in front of the net for Lear, who scored his 8th goal of these playoffs, and it's exactly what Portland was looking for early in the third. So Taylor Lear from Saskatoon scores the first Portland goal of the final. Samuelson for the Oil Kings trying to get it in front of the net. They give Hansen the second assist on the goal, which came in exactly 3 minutes. Legault trying to get a shot. Samuelson scores! Samuelson answers right back. Legault had tried to make something happen. Samuelson goes in and whips it past Matt Carruth for his second goal of the game. And just seconds later, in fact 47 seconds later, Edmonton restores its 2-goal lead.
Boy, the line of Legault, Lazar, and Samuelson have been a factor here. This is Legault, number 7. Look at his persistence. He tries to, make something happen when even he can't quite get at that puck. Leipzig tries to take it away from him, and again, what one man spills, another man gathers, and in that case, Legault can't get to the puck. Samuelson takes it right away and says, I'll rip it, I'll shoot it. And a huge 2-goal lead again for this Edmonton team. Wow, who saw that coming?
So just the 1 assist, Legault, and just like the 2-0 goal, there was 1 assist. It was Samuelson from Legault in both cases. And the buildings got quiet again. 3-1 Oil Kings, who have scored on their first shot, on their 13th shot, and their 19th shot of game number 1. 3 goals on 19 shots, 1 goal on 29 shots for the Portland Winterhawks. Bittner has a go off his stick. He goes back to Rutkowski. Now to Pouliot. Let's see what that goal does to this game. I mean, Portland got what they wanted, an early goal, and then it's answered right back. Will they continue to play this third period with the same zip?
Yeah, and an interesting stat. We talked about comparing these two teams. You go to period number 3 in the playoffs. The Portland Winterhawks have scored 26 goals and given up 7. The Edmonton Oil Kings, you ask, you wonder, is he going to tell me? Scored 26 goals and given up 7.
Wow.
And they're tied in period number 3 right now.
And there's Mirage trying to chase it down. He can't. Bjorkstrand puts the puck inside the line, and here he is getting the rebound. Bjorkstrand takes the shot. I should say he got a turnover as this was the recipient of a poor Edmonton play, but he doesn't take the pay for it as the puck is shot in. Seth Jones. Now Wotherspoon. Lear with Bjorkstrand. Wotherspoon jumping in to the rush. Can't get him the puck. Jones does not hold it in. Delayed offside. And it goes all the way back to the Portland zone. Seth Jones getting the puck. Dylan Ruck trying to check him off the puck. Enjoyed the interview with Stu Walters. Most sportsman-like player, only had 14 penalty minutes all year. Speaking of Stu, let's go down to ice level.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dan. Just listening to Travis Green talk to his players here after the 3-1 goal, telling them, do not get into a lull, guys. Keep up the pace, keep up the speed. If you lose the puck, forecheck like crazy. We're still in this one. We'll see how it turns out.
Well, that's what we're just wondering about. Do they have the zip? I mean, those are demoralizing goals when you just get the building back in it and you cough it right back up again. We'll see how big that goal proves to be here in the third period. How will the rest of this period be played out? Travis Green obviously concerned right now with this team not being rewarded for their early energy. Here's Bittner going in. Bittner takes a shot. It's turned aside by Brossois. Rutkowski back of the net, comes up with a loose puck. Rutkowski spinning in that corner. Now comes up to the line. Here's Pouliot. Now Peters. Now a shot goes off the stick. That's way up high, and it goes out of play behind the Edmonton goal.
Paul Bittner, you know, 45 games that he played on the season, a 16-year-old. In fact, he's the youngest active player on any Western Hockey League roster. That young man there got an opportunity to play a couple games on a line with Leipzig and Patan. And you guessed it, in a stretch of 6 games, he had 4 game-winning goals, saying, you know what, that's a fun line to play on. But as a 16-year-old, big kid, 6'4", 194, from Crookston, Minnesota.
One of 10 U.S.-born players on this Portland roster. The American natives more and more every year. That's the most I've ever seen on one team. 10. Oh, there's Calda being knocked off stride. Good call. Maybe he tried to draw the penalty. Calda from back of the net, throwing it in front. St. Croix, the deep slot, can't get his stick on it. Here's Seth Jones starting back the other way. Jones in over the line. That went off Lucille. Brady, the puck knocked down with a high stick. Brady goes down and we'll get a play stop.
Rookie of the Year award, Western Hockey League, first Winter Hawk since 2002. Put your hand up if you know who that was. If you're a Winter Hawk fan, Braden Colburn.
Wow.
You know, the nicest thing about about Seth Jones is, one of the things amongst many, is I think he's been his own person. You know, he's been totally Seth Jones. He's not been Popeye's son, especially, you know, up in Canada. Everybody refers to him as his own person. And, you know, there's a guy who's going to have his name called first the upcoming draft in New Jersey. By the way, his dad Popeye lives 20 minutes from the arena where the draft is going to take place.
Had a tear in his eye when his son played his first game in this building because he had played NBA games here. That's quite a thing. Talk about him all night. I'm sure we will through the series, but what a remarkable player he is. You know, last year in the off day, there was this big news conference here in Portland. Well, they got the rights to the Seth Jones, and I knew he was a pretty good player, but I'm thinking that's a lot of fuss.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And now I know why there was that much fuss, because he's the real McCoy. As it shot into the Edmonton zone, we're 7:20 into the third period of game number 1. It's a 2-goal Edmonton lead. The Oil Kings, for the first time in 8 series, opening on the road. Are they the underdog with a defending championship and 108 points this season? That's quite a thing if you're the underdog. Delio along this near side wall. Checked off his stick. Cody Corbett gets it out to Legault. Legault cross ice right on the tape of Lazar. Lazar has his centering pass knocked down. Seth Jones gets it, and it's taken off his stick by Legault, who throws it in front of the net. Bjorkstrand can't get it out. Here's Samuelson now. Samuelson throws it in front, and it goes off the stick, out of play behind the Portland net.
Well, I think Stefan Legault's had a wonderful game here tonight for this Edmonton Oil King team. He's been involved in a couple goals. He's been on the forecheck. You just saw him work that puck from behind the net. A little bit disappointed. You know why he was shaking his head going off the ice? It wasn't that he missed the scoring chance. He felt he should have made a better pass to get it to his teammate. Last year, remember the line that he played on with Jordan Peddle and Rhett Rashinsky, and how good they were.
Edmonton has now scored 74 goals in these playoffs and have allowed 26. Portland has scored 66 goals, and they get 67 now, and have allowed 29. Burnett winding up for a shot, and Caruth loves that one.
You know, talk about the Portland Winterhawks being in the finals now, the WHL finals, 3 years in a row. Well, let's go back to the last 2 years. Dan, interesting. Their home ice record in the finals against Kootenay and Edmonton last year are 3 wins and 3 losses. The road record for the Portland Winterhawks, their last WHL finals, a road record, 1 win and 5 losses. So they're 4 and 8, haven't really been dominated on home ice or dominating on home ice in the WHL finals the last 2 years.
The attendance for game 1 is 10,097. Last year, these two teams set a WHL record for most, or the highest attendance in a 7-game series. Puck shot in. There'll be more even here tomorrow. That's just shy of a sellout. So they'll tell us that game 2 is sold out, or virtually. Here's St. Croix going in. That went off the stick to St. Croix. Gobbles up his own rebound, comes out the other side, and there's Caruth there to make the save.
You know, Kulda, again, a great job. This time he forces, I believe it's Jones or Rutkowski, but just does a terrific job. He loses a stick in the process, but he gets a turnover. This is what Kulda's been so good at. Right there it is, Jones. Look where that puck ends up. Kulda loses his stick, but the puck ends up right on a teammate Michael St. Croix' stick. Kulda has been just fantastic in the playoffs for me.
And really, as I said earlier, taking advantage of that top unit now. Getting more and more ice time with the injury to Cheek. Cheek will not play tomorrow. Coach Laxdal told me he's out for game 1 and 2. He didn't go beyond that, so we'll see how that plays out.
He's from nearby, what, 20 minutes to Vancouver, Washington. What a thrill it would have been him to. In fact, every time Trevor Cheek's been in this building with the Calgary or Vancouver, he's had 100 fans here. They've cheered his penalties.
Here is Dylan Ruck in over the blue line. Dylan Ruck pass in front, and that shot by Iwanek goes off the target. Trying to hit Caruth first. Yeah, Vancouver, Washington. Portland is right on the border of virtually the Oregon-Washington border, that close. And just over the bridge is Vancouver, Washington. So here comes Leipzig. Poked off the stick. No sales tax, by the way, here in Portland. I know a lot of Vancouver, Washington people probably take that trip over the bridge a few times.
My wife very familiar with that.
Really?
Thank you very much.
Notice she didn't come to the game tonight.
Oh, you know where she is. Got her own credit cards, though. That's a good one.
Rutkowski gets the puck out through center. Here's Leipzig. Leipzig shoots that puck in, delayed offside, and Keegan Lowe goes back to get the puck. Portland was really good early, not bad in the second, but not much so far here in the third, as Edmonton halfway through this third period has taken over the control of the game. There's a shot, and they score! Off the rebound, Curtis Lazar has made it 4-1. The shot came from the point off the backboards, and then to Lazar, who finds it, and the Oil Kings have a 3-goal lead in the opener.
Guys, you gotta watch this. Watch how Curtis Lazar is going to lose his check in front of the net. He's right there. He's number 27. Look at this. He's got Seth Jones beside him and puts his stick down in a position that he can get to that puck. That is a classic battle. Watch this. And he knocks the puck out of the air on top of all that. And he's got a bunch of spectators watching. Curtis Lazar, unbelievable. If you can read lips, that was very, very interesting. His excitement right there. Come on, smile. No, not quite.
That was Keegan Lowe, and guess who? Stefan Legault, another point. He's got 3 points. Stuff is happening all the time, and Legault's on the ice. Here's Keegan Lowe taking a shot. That goes to the front of the net. Calder can't get his stick on. Now he does. Calder puts it back to St. Croix. Hard pass in front to Foster. Foster dumps it behind the net. Peters has it. Now Seth Jones has it. And it's flipped out to the neutral zone. 4-1 Edmonton. It was 1-0 after 1, 2-0 after 2. Then it was 2-1. And just what we thought, when the Samuelson goal came back 47 seconds later, it might take the zip out of the Portland Winterhawks, and it has done that so far. Here's Leipzig. Went over the line, and his shot off the target. And the Winterhawks really having trouble getting shots to the net. They only have 3 here in the third period. At one point in this game, we were thinking they were on a pace to go over 50. That's how dominant they were on the shot clock. But it's changed a lot. Hansen, like 2 games in 1. Hansen's shot, that's knocked down. Not unlike last year, we saw the momentum changes in the 7 games and during those 7 games. Ratty, toe drag, throws it at the net. Rebound, just put wide. Patan with a golden opportunity. And now the other way. Here comes Dylan Ruck. Ruck shoots, and Caruth makes the save. Holding on, or is he? No, the puck is loose and put wide of the net. Caruth thought he had it. We couldn't see the puck here. Look at Caruth and Dylan Ruck. They're having words right at the top of the crease. And meantime, way over the benches, something going on over there. Wow. It's game 1. It's Edmonton leading, but you don't want to leave because what else is going to happen here? 8:08 to go in the 3rd. This is the WHL Championship Series on Shaw. Well, for the first time since they were eliminated, the Saskatoon Blades do know that they're going to be playing one of these 2 teams as part of that round robin. May 17th to 26th. There's how you get tickets. SaskatoonBlades.com.
Terrific start here for the Portland Winterhawks, but against the flow of the play, 2:03 into period number 1. Travis Zawanek is going to go deep and get that puck to Dylan Ruck. And, you know, that puck does bounce off a skate right there and Ruck to his backhand. That was the only scoring in the first period. Henrik Samuelsson taking advantage of a great play by Stefan Legault, gives Edmonton a 2-0 lead. That was all there was in period number 2. And then Taylor Lear gets position in front, gets Portland on the board. Hey, 47 seconds later, Henrik Samuelsson again, Legault, number 7, he's been everywhere. Samuelsson makes it 3-1, and Curtis Lazar just after that at 10:03 with his first of this series, 4-1 Edmonton.
And that's the power plays too. 4-1 Portland. This is their 4th power play with Mraz in the penalty box. 0 for 3 with the man advantage. It's a roughing penalty to Mraz, and at the side of the net, Leipzig has his shot go astray. Here comes a 2-on-1. It's Samuelsson and Lazar. Samuelsson shoots. Caruth squeezes his pads, and Caruth is in ill humor right now as he has words with Lazar, and Lazar chirps right back at him.
You know, Matt Caruth has had a pretty good playoff career. You talked about it earlier, 45 wins. This is a 2-on-1 that he takes right in the chest protector, if you will. He's not happy. You can see his response at that point, but down a 1.62 goals against average, which is 2nd in the Western Hockey League for Matt Caruth.
Boy, has this game turned around. The shots in the 3rd period right now are 14-3 in favor of the visiting Oil Kings. They were outshot 16-6 in the 1st period. Each team with 11 shots in the middle period. It's a commanding lead with 7:40 to go. It's an essential power play for Portland right here. You have to think if they're going to claw their way back here in game number 1. And it's not really about clawing. They got to race their way back. The time is now becoming a big factor for Portland as that puck is shot down the ice. And that allows 4 fresh penalty killers to come on the ice. And Legault is one of them. Foster's up front. Burnett and Suntner at the back as Lear brings it in over the blue line. Lear going in on his backhand. Lear shovels it along the far wall. Put behind the net. Delio waiting for it over on this side. As he goes down, the puck squirts free. Bjorkstrand trying to get at it. Here's Jones now over on the far side. Foster easily picks up that puck and shoots it the length of the ice. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Seth Jones out of his own zone. Jones going in. Still Jones throwing it to the front of the net and getting his own sort of puck as he tried to make a pass, but it was him who came up with the puck, but not for long as it goes down the ice and Rutkowski collects it once more. 20 seconds to go in the Mraz minor. Leipzig now to Ratty. Ratty puts it at the net, turned aside by Brossois. Pouliot, he gets possession. Battle for the puck. It does score 3 to Portland. Patan moving in, shot saved by Brossois. Brossois might be in their heads a little bit already. I mean, that's 32 shots. They're trying to pick some corners there. Here's Pouliot. Shot, and there's a save by Brossoit off Derek Pouliot.
Yeah, really, really sharp, Laurent Brossoit. If ever there was a case where a goaltender kept his team in while they got their feet, it was early in this hockey game. That's the Patan chance. Does a real nice pad save right after that. This is Pouliot. And again, maybe even a better save as Pouliot moves in and Laurent Brossoit flashes the leather. And again, as I say, ever a case where your goaltender holds you in until you get your feet moving. It's been this game so far tonight here in Portland.
You don't know how it would play out, but how important was that disallowed goal in the first period too? I mean, that was a time where they were playing their best hockey, and they thought they tied it 1-1. It was taken back by video review, and Edmonton seemed to calm down a little bit after that.
And Dan, yeah, I mean, you talk about transition. That not allowed goal was probably the best transition of the Winterhawk team all night. Yeah, that would have been deflating, no question.
Peters has the puck. Peters. Although it looked like a good call from our standpoint from the video review. Long look at it. They looked at it over and over and made their call. Meantime, will that puck ever come out of that corner? It might, and it does. Iwanek has it, and now Miraz has it, and Dylan Ruck chips it, tries to get by Pouliot. Pouliot stays with him, and now Ruck tries to steal it off Pouliot. Seth Jones comes over, eliminates Ruck, swatted at to Caruth, and he's going to hold on. With 4:59 to go in Game 1, we remind you too that Game 2 is right back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific. So that's 8 p.m. for those watching in the Mountain Time Zone.
And 17 NHL-owned players in the lineup in this series. Terrific matchup. The #1 seed in both conferences. The highest scoring team in the Western Hockey League, the Portland Winterhawks, against the stingiest team, the tightest defensive team, the Edmonton Oil Kings. And right now with 4:59 left, the Oil Kings with a solid, well-earned 4-1 lead.
And some of the fans already heading to the exits as that puck comes out to Mayo. Mayo over to Corbett. Corbett, hard pass into the skates, though, of Kolda. Comes out here to Foster. This is Game 71 of the playoffs. The road team so far has won 32. So if Edmonton holds on, it'll be the 33rd road team win. Pretty close. Home team winning 54% of the games through the first 3 rounds of the WHL playoffs. Rutkowski sort of gives it away, and in fact he did. Here's Foster. He can't get the shot away. Lear up to Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand in over the line. It's got to the point with Portland because of Brossoit. They'd like to get another one just to have a feel-good moment near the end of this game. Maybe see if they can get their goalie out. In over the line, Delio. Pass went off Bjorkstrand. Lazar comes up with a puck. Good defensive play there by Curtis Lazar. Up to Kolda. Now to Lazar. He wanted that puck badly. He got it. Samuelson takes a shot. Lazar on the rebound. Can't get his stick on it. And Patan starts Leipzig back. There's Ratty. Ratty hasn't had many scoring chances tonight. So Coach Laxdal wanted this pairing off against Ratty. He wants Keegan Lowe and David Lucille. If he can get that pairing against the Ratty line, he's going to be a happy coach most of the time. Lazar puts the puck out to the line. Lucille, his shot knocked down by Patan. And Seth Jones gets it now. Now to Pouliot. Pouliot coming out of his own zone with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Leipzig in over the line. Leipzig makes one move, takes a shot. Brossoit with the right pad save. Out to Seth Jones now. That's a hit as Leipzig goes down, taking the hit from Iwanek. Puck shot deep. Caruth handling it. That has not been a big factor in this game. Caruth is the best puck handling goalie probably in the league, and he hasn't had to do much of it tonight. There's Iwanek crashing to the net. Hasn't been a weapon, let's put it that way, for the Portland Winterhawks. Dylan Ruck is grinding his way towards the front of the net. Can't get there. Ratty banks it off the board. Seth Jones makes one move, knocks off stride, and then he follows up, gets it out to center. What a performance here by Edmonton as this night has moved along.
Marvelous. Absolutely fantastic.
Ooh, look at that stick. That went flying. The Calda stick ends up way back in his own zone. He's hit it center, and the stick almost made it behind his own net. There it is on the left of your screen as goaltender Brossoit stands in front of another one.
Edgar's Calda lost his stick earlier on a turnover right at the blue line. It ended up on his man's, on his partner's stick. There's a hit on Sautner, and somehow Calda, I don't know if he's hanging on to that stick or the momentum of the check is what it is, but that stick flew, folks, from the Portland blue line all the way up in the air. Have a good look at this here, number 23. There it goes, way, way up, and it ends up inside the Edmonton Oil Kings zone.
It's like one of your pitching wedge shots. I mean, that went way up high there.
Well, it's Dave Roberts, our producer.
Oh.
The helicopter shot when he misses the shot.
There's a chance in the slot, and the shot taken by Bjorkstrand wide. Now the wraparound from the backhand of Lear doesn't get there, and Samuelson flips it out to center. Lazar misses it there. We're under 2 minutes to go in game number 1, and the Oil Kings, barring something unforeseen here, are going to grab the opener this year. There's Lear. There's Rutkowski. There's a shot that goes up high, taken by Brossoit. Last year we had a split after the first 2 games in Edmonton, and then a split after the first 4 games. Obviously, after the first 6 games, they just kept kind of hanging in with each other. It's all about adjustments, and we'll see what Portland does to adjust between games 1 and 2.
Stu, 334 goals for the Portland Winterhawks on the season, most in the WHL. They've got one here tonight. What are you seeing? What are you sensing on the bench? What's the reaction like?
Well, yeah, and you talk about that top line, Ratty, Leipzig, and Petan. They're pretty frustrated actually down here, Bill, to be quite honest. Obviously, the colorful language, slamming of the door, slamming of their sticks, and we've seen some creativity from them, but just not being able to get that final puck past Brossoit tonight, and again, more frustration with the goal called back, as Dan referenced earlier in the period.
And now we're 1 minute remaining in the third. But keep in mind, when Kamloops did come up with their 1 win against the Portland Winterhawks, it was similar in terms of the scoreline. It was 5-1 for Portland that night, or for Kamloops that night. They beat Portland in game number 3 of the Western Conference Final. There's a collision as Mraz just knocks down his man Baker. Mraz goes back after it. Wanek and Mraz, he likes playing championship games on his birthday. I think he's 2-0 now, as Mraz puts that puck in deep. Around this side of Wanek, takes a shot towards the Portland net. Bittner will get it, chips it out, and here comes Iverson. Ooh, Iverson knocked off stride by Gwinnett. 10 seconds remaining now in quiet Portland, as the Oil Kings are going to lead the championship series 1-0. Very, very solid after surviving the early stages of this game.
Yeah, and when you consider this Edmonton Oil King team, Dan, this year had to play 3 more games to get to number 1 game of the Western Hockey League final, as opposed to last year. You got to be more and more impressed with what they accomplished here tonight. They bent early. That guy there getting all the hugs and all the head bangs, he's the guy that really held them in there. Brossoit was terrific. But you know what? The Everett Silvertips came in here and won 2 games against the Portland Winterhawks. The only 2 losses on the season. They're 6-2 at home. Now, Edmonton's not Everett. I understand that. But somehow this Portland team's got to figure out, we've lost it all before. We're going to go home tomorrow night, get it done, and try to even this series up.
And that's the first time in these playoffs, for what it's worth, that Edmonton's been outshot in a game. Outshot 36-29. And you see the congratulations going on, and there'll be a happy bench for the Edmonton Oil Kings. We've got post-game activity coming up. Edmonton 4, Portland 1, WHL final on Shaw.